That town there is Arminia. What an amazing, amazing place. We've just found this staircase, so of course we're going to go and have a look. There's a man driving on the wrong side of the road. Because we're in Turkey, you can reverse. You can see the border fence there. Where are we going? We're Marion and Chris. In 2018, we quit the 9-to-5 and bought Trudy, our camper van.
We are currently on an adventure to drive the circumference of the world.
You join us as we explore the east of Turkey.
With mystical lands, adventurous train rides, great wild camping spots, and interesting characters.
Good morning. It is our last morning here in the city of Kars. We've had a fantastic time. We've been parked up next to this little park, but there's something special about this little park here. There used to actually be a petting zoo with farm animals. It ended up going bust. They couldn't afford to run it, and they released the animals back into the park. There was things like rabbits. Apparently they got eaten by the locals, a nice rabbit stew. We've seen a few geese walking around, a few ducks. Chickens. But there is also, really randomly, a pony that lives in this park. We bought some apples for it before we leave Kars.
Interesting fact, Kaz means goose and Kars means snow.
And it's snowy here in the winter. We've seen lots of people coming and having selfies with it, so I'm sure it is very tame and used to human interaction. He's got the park all to himself now. Okay, that's it. We are leaving Kars. Andy is joining us on a little road trip. He's coming with us for the next couple of days down towards Van. Welcome on board the Trudy van. How cool is this? Make yourself at home. In you go, that's your seat there on that table. So the first stop today is the Kars Ani, which is an old abandoned ruined city, which is about 40 minutes drive east of Kars. So there's the train track. It was that direction that we went to Ankara.
I don't want to talk about it.
Marianne can't talk about trains after 60 hours. The drive today is taking us right next to the Armenian border in the northeastern part of Turkey here.
That gives you an indication of how far east we are going.
We are properly far east. Just driving along, the landscape is just still so barren and bleak. Kars really does feel like it's in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by these sort of prairies. I'm not sure you can see that, but there's a horse and cart going through the field there. Driving along, we got 2.8 kilometers to go, and according to Google Maps this road is just going to stop because in about 6 kilometers this way it's Arminia. But we're having trouble just imagining that this massive dual carriageway just stops, although there's nobody else on it. It just stops. We thought we were going to be the only ones here because it really does feel like we are in the middle of nowhere. But I've spotted there's a car park with a tour bus in it, some cars, and I did see in the distance a motorhome. There are little bits of ruins dotted around. We got all the local kids. Merhaba!
Merhaba. Merhaba.
Are you okay? Marianne just gave them a big bag of crisps. So we've arrived and we're just going to go and find the entrance. Oh, you can see it there, look at it.
This is not at all what I was expecting.
Not at all.
At all.
So entry into the city is 22 Turkish lira, or as we say, if you have a museum card, it's covered in that. So yeah, just walking to the city, you can see a flag on the hill in the distance, and that is Armenia. We are literally right there is the country of Armenia. So the city here is known as a number of names. It's known as the World City, the cradle of civilizations, the city of 1,001 churches, and the city of 40 gates. And the ruins here is now a World Heritage Site. It is so impressive walking up and seeing the size of this structure, just really in the middle of nowhere, and the wind is bellowing through. What an amazing, amazing place. And you can see the cathedrals, the forts, and some buildings that are scattered around within these wonderful walls. I mean, this is just fascinating wall. This is crazy. Marianne's being far too adventurous. I think she's leading Andy astray there. And they're climbing the wall. People, don't fall off, hey? The city is classed as one of the world's most sacred spots and is the most spectacular medieval city here in Turkey. And in fact was the capital of the great medieval Armenian kingdom. In the mid-10th century, in the whole of Europe, there wasn't a city that could compare to this one in terms of its grandeur and size. The problem is, Marianne, you gotta come down now. Being scared of heights and all, it was a great idea. That's a high wall. You can see different buildings, remnants of the city, dotted around in the background here. I'm sorry about the wind noise, it's particularly windy today and we're very exposed here. But it really feels like we're on the set of a movie. Coming up and seeing this massive wall from the old city. It's just so big. I wasn't expecting it to look so grand when we turned up. Imagine it, couldn't you, back in the day? And look at the views, literally. It looks like a scene of a movie, doesn't it? So we were saying earlier that Kars feels like it is in the middle of nowhere because it was a long drive to get there with not many towns and cities around. But here, it feels like we've just discovered some ancient civilization that nobody knew about. And can you imagine how bleak it is living in this town here with those few houses in the winter? It's just unbelievable. It is unbelievable. You can see lots of caves which look like they were old dwellings. But the one thing about this city is it's got a natural defense surrounded by a river and this canyon. And it goes all the way along up to the fort that you can see in the distance there. Here's the palace. We've come into the courtyard here. If only you could see back in the day. What a story would this tell you. Look.
The stonework's incredible.
It is. It really is. Just come across this one ruin here, which looked like an old round building with these decorative pillars. It looks like it was a pretty important building there. It was actually a church. That's what it would have looked like back in the day. And it would have been a huge church, 3 stories high. Look at these ruins. So looking on the edge of the cliff here, the natural defense, you can see where they built the wall and the towers and used the cliffs. But there is old inhabitants there. You can see caves that would have had people living in.
It's very unusual landscape for us. This is something very different. We've seen cave dwellings in Cappadocia, we've seen defensive walls in Georgia, but this landscape and the feel here is mind-blowing.
So this is the Ani, this sort of round church building here. This is the one we saw online, a lot of pictures. Feels so much cooler. Wow. Oh, there's a bird's nest up there. Look at this. This would definitely steeped in history and be able to tell a lot of tales. I don't know why people would graffiti their names on such a wonderful building. So this is the Manişehir Mosque. It's the first Seljuk mosque built in Anatolia, and it was built in the year 1072. So looking across from here, you've got the river and the canyon, and this is the end of Turkey. You can see the border fence there, and from there onwards is Armenia. So it is walking towards this huge building. It actually looks like a massive mansion. They've got a lot of restoration work going on with all the scaffolding. Look at this. This is the Cathedral of Ani. This is impressive. It's huge, and it was built in. Oh, nice acoustics, Marianne. We've just found this staircase, so of course we're going to go and have a look. And hey, this is a bit sketchy.
Away.
Well, this bit here we go, then come back on yourself.
Oh, there's big spider cobweb. Now turn around. Turn around.
Turn around.
That's it.
Oh
now,
my God, how are we going to get back down?
Put your foot, I don't know about that yet. We'll talk about that later.
Oh my goodness. Why are we doing this?
Because we're nuts.
Oh, Jesus.
Ooh, how exciting. Oh, and there's a hole in the floor. So yeah, this would have been a little secret room. And down, don't look down.
So this is where we climbed up to, that's looking down. And up to the roof. Yes, I think we're mad. There's a hole in the floor there, which makes me think there's not a lot of support. So that is the view looking down. Oh, it's a bit dark. I could just see Andy. Oh, there he is. Okay.
Nice big hole.
A nice big hole. So let's step there.
But I don't want to go towards the light. But it's so beautiful.
Can you see good?
I can see. Hang on. I'm on it.
Yeah, you got it.
I'm on it.
You got it. That's the window we looked out of. The hole in the ceiling we looked down on. You lunatics, you. So we've jumped back into Trudi. It's 1:30. So we're heading a little bit further south. We've got a 3-hour drive, or in Trudi probably a 3.5-hour drive ahead of us. And we'll find somewhere to stop for lunch. But we're going to go and see a little bit of rural eastern Turkey. There is a serious amount of cows grazing over there. There's a man driving on the wrong side of the road.
He doesn't want to go round.
He doesn't want to go round the one-way system, so he's driving down a dual carriageway the wrong way. What is that?
Continue on D070.
And it's official, we are still in the middle of nowhere. I just genuinely can't believe how long and straight these roads are. The sky's turning a little bit grey. I think we might hit a little storm on the way today. The goats are getting out of the back of the lorry. I don't blame them. We've literally come across the river and the valley here, running along, right along the Armenian border. So look at this, how crazy is this? We're driving down, there's the river, and there's a town here, which is Turkey. That town there is Armenia. Cows on the road. Merhaba. So we just turned off the road here because Andy spotted a very cool place on his phone.
Good
Thanks, Andy.
job.
Which apparently has got loads of really cool multicoloured rocks. Look, he's fishing. It's got like he's casting like a little net. That's quite cool. Where are we going?
I don't know.
Looks like just as we get across the bridge.
I don't know where we're going. Look, we're passing dogs, chickens, a tent. I think we might have to turn round, love. So us boys are going to go and find it. Marianne's going to stay and do social phone calls with their girlfriends back home.
Yeah,
It's a very cool spot.
That looks kind of like a road that goes in.
Well, we can go and have a wander and see what we find. I think there's a pathway. That looks like a pathway to me. As long as we don't accidentally stroll over to Armenia, we'll be okay. So we walked probably 300-400 meters, and it should be maybe just around this corner somewhere. Okay, we had a lovely walk, but I think we might have had an epic Google fail because there's no rainbow rocks here. The dog is howling on top of the rocks up there.
Well, he's not calling in his friends.
Yeah, we've got visitors. Get out of here. He's gonna have a peek over the back. Watch out for snakes. Dog's literally right at the top of the mountain up there. He's a mountain dog, look at him. I think this is a warm-up for when we get to Utah. The landscape is how I would imagine Utah to be. So we found this bit of colourful rock here, but it's nothing like it looks on Google. Amazing.
Is it lovely?
No, it's an epic fail.
Oh.
There's nothing up there.
Oh.
Walked about a mile and there's nothing up there.
Oh.
Okay, next stop, food. Because it's lunchtime, it's 4 o'clock. So me and Andy went hiking through that little valley there, and actually we're thinking, it's looking pretty nice, the rocks here. I think it's been pinned wrong. The landscape down here it's changed again. It literally looks like we're on Mars. And there's different coloured rocks everywhere other than where Andy and I walked. Going through a bit like an army stop, but there's nobody here at the moment. But what's fascinating is these little houses. Oh, it's an army base. We just turned off into a little village. We're doing another food attempt. So we're just coming through the town.
Merhaba.
Turn left here.
Turn left.
Yeah. Can you get down this way?
I can get down anywhere you need me to. Merhaba.
So we park in the centre here and then we'll just have a little wander. All good. Okay, we found a restaurant. They got Lacanta style. Okay, that was an absolute fabulous dinner. We're absolutely stuffed and now we're going to hit the road again. Merhaba.
Nasılsınız? İyi misiniz?
İyiyim, teşekkürler.
Nereden geliyorsun?
İngiltere.
İngiltere, iyi, hoş geldin. Nereye?
Directly in front of us is Mount Ararat, and we think it's the highest mountain in Turkey. It's over 5,000 meters high.
Where Noah's Ark was apparently laid to rest when the floods subsided.
There you go, so at the top of there apparently is Noah's Ark. It's a very odd landscape with the rocks, and we were just saying how it looks almost volcanic. Andy, our resident researcher, has looked on Google and apparently this was volcanic and it last erupted in 1840. We can just see the lights of the town we're going to in the distance. 20 minutes we should be there. One thing we've noticed on this side of Turkey is there is a lot more official army stops on the road, but they see Trudy's number plate and so far they've waved us through. We've been through a few of them now. So we've arrived in the town and we just head into a car park that we've seen on Google Maps. Okay, so that is the car park, but there's a market there. We turn left here. This is the problem arriving at night time.
Lütfen otopark karavan.
Turn round. There you go, reverse back. Because we're in Turkey, you can reverse. There you go. Perfect.
Perfect.